Hello learners, I'm Shahitha
And I'm Monisha.
and you're watching Learn Life with us. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the post notification so that you don't miss any of our uploads. Without further ado, let's get into the video. In this series of videos, we will be learning about different branches of biology that we discussed in our previous video, one after the other in the upcoming videos. And for this video, anatomy.
Anatomy is a branch of biology that deals with the study of structure of organisms and their parts. Anatomy is also a branch of natural science which deals with structural organization of living things. The word anatomy is derived from the Greek word where ana means dissection and tomy means to cut.
This word anatomy is commonly mistaken to refer only to human anatomy. Human anatomy is of course an essential basic science applied to medical biology, but still anatomy has much to deal with other organisms too. Anatomy is inherently connected with phylogeny, evolutionary biology, embryology, developmental biology, and comparative anatomy. Andreas Vesalius is referred to as father of anatomy and founder of modern human anatomy. He is the author of one of the most influential books in human anatomy, On the Fabric of the Human Body.
The fine discipline in anatomy is divided into two main categories, macroscopic and microscopic. The words macro and micro clearly depict what these fields disciplines deal with. Macroscopic anatomy is the study of animal structures and body parts with unaided eyesight. Macroscopic anatomy is also called gross anatomy. Visual anatomy, superficial anatomy, or surface anatomy is a very important branch of macroscopic anatomy that play a significant role in studying external features and structures of organisms. Microscopic anatomy is the study of animal structures and body parts with the use of optical instruments like microscopes. It is also called as histology. It is a very important branch of anatomy which is necessary to study cells.
Anatomy can also be classified based on the subjects of study as cell anatomy, vertebrate anatomy, and invertebrate anatomy. Number 1. Cell anatomy or collectively as tissue anatomy. Cell anatomy include the study of various cells and tissues. Connective tissue, epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue cover almost 90% of the cell anatomy. While studying this anatomy, the main aspects to be concentrated are composition of the cell, arrangement of the cell, germ layers of the cell, intracellular matrix, extracellular matrix, functions of these cells or tissues, organs that these cells and tissues make up.
Number 2. Invertebrate anatomy. Invertebrate anatomy includes the study of vast range of organisms from simple unicellular organisms to complex multicellular organisms, their structures and organs. This sub-branch includes almost 86% of all animals. This branch studies all 9 phylums in the subkingdom invertebrate where arthropodal anatomy is significant.
Number 3. Vertebrate anatomy. Vertebrate anatomy include the study of all phylums of vertebrate individually, their structure and their organs. Some of the branches of vertebrate anatomy are amphibian anatomy, reptile anatomy, bird anatomy, and mammalian anatomy. Even though human falls under mammals, human anatomy is regarded as a separate sub-branch due to its importance in medical field line.
Milestones in anatomy.
Edwin Smith Papyrus in 1600 BC described heart vessels, liver, spleen, hypothalamus, uterus, and bladder. He also showed blood diverging from heart. Ebers Papyrus in 1550 BC explained in detail about this phenomenon. The most significant development of anatomy and physiology happened in an Egyptian city, Hellenic Alexandria, of which was Herophilus and Erostratus played a very significant role in the 3rd century. They were the pioneers of human anatomy. Abulcasis invented surgical instruments in the 11th century. In the 9th century, for the first time, Hunayn ibn Ishaq gave the anatomy of an eye.
The anatomy of skeleton and muscles is written in a medical work called Hippocratic Corpus, but the author of this work remains unknown. Aristotle described vertebrate anatomy.
Praxagoras described the difference between arteries and veins in the 4th century in his treatise on pulse. The human anatomy had a great progress in the medieval period to early medieval period. Mondino's Anatomy of 1316 was the first textbook ever written on human anatomy. Leonardo da Vinci, a well-recognized artist and painter, learned anatomy and painting from Andrea del Verrocchio. He used his painting skills and his knowledge in anatomy to draw diagrams of human muscles, skeleton, and organs. He was the first to give an diagrammatic representation of muscles, skeleton, and organ, which was an important milestone in the understanding and learning of anatomy, especially human anatomy. Andreas Vesalius in the 16th century wrote an most influential book on human anatomy called De Humani Corporis Fabrica Libri Septem, translated as On the Fabric of the Human, which earned him a status of founder of modern human anatomy. Before the medieval era or modern medieval period, anatomy was studied by dissecting the dead organism and then studying their structures and organs. This was a great drawback which did not bring about further development in anatomy. It was the advent of microscope, X-ray, ultrasound, and magnetic resonance imaging that brought about understanding and further development of anatomy. And that is it for the video. Always remember, science is in development. There are new inventions and development that add to each and every field. There would be many other advancement and development in anatomy in the future for sure. So this gate of studying a subject would never get closed. We would also like to apologize if we had made any mistake in teaching these chapters because we are not scholars. We are also in the progress of learning. So kindly apologize us if we had made any mistakes. Until next time, keep learning because knowledge rules humanity. See you, bye-bye. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the post notification and leave a massive thumbs up. You can also leave a comment on what video you would like to see next.